Hello and welcome to Short Story Scene. I'm your host, the storyteller, and here we have a tale called Inferno by Dante Alighieri. Canto 14. Because the charity of my native place constrained me, gathered I the scattered leaves and gave them back to him, who now was hoarse. Then came we the confined were disparted, and second round is from the third, and where the horrible form of justice is beheld. Clearly to manifest these novel things, I say that we arrive upon the plain, which from its rejected every plant, the delirious forest is garland to it, all around about, as the sad moat to that. There is close upon the wedge we stayed our feet. The soil was an arid and thick sands, not another fashion made than that which was the feet of Canto once was pressed. Vengeance of God, oh how much oughtest thou by each one of the dreaded, and who doth read that which manifest unto mine eyes? Of naked souls beheld I in many herds, who are the weeping very miserable, and over them seem to set a law diverse. Supine upon the ground some folk were lying, and some were sitting all drawn up together, and others went about continually. Those who were going around were far and the more, and those who were less were laid down to their torment. But their tongues from loosened to lamentation, or all the sand wastes with the gradual fall, with the raining down depleted flakes of fire, as the snow on an Alp without a wind, as Alexander in their torrid parts of India beheld upon his host. Flames fall unbroken till they reach the ground, whence he provided with the phalanx and to the trample down the soil, because the vapor better exhausted was while it was single. Thus was descended this eternal heat, whereby the sand was set on fire like tinder beneath the steel, for doubling of the dole. Without repose forever was the dance of miserable hands, now there, now here, shaking away from off them the fresh gleeds. Master, began I, thou who overcomest all things except the demons dire that issued against us at the entrance of the gate, who is the mighty one who seems to heed not the fire, and leave the lower and disdainful, so that the rain seems not to ripen him. And he himself, who had become aware that I was questioning my guide about him, cried, such as I was living, I am dead. Jove should weary out his smith, from whom he seized in anger and sharp thunderbolt, wherewith upon the last day I was smitten. And if they worried by turn the others, in Mangalabello the swarthy forge, vociferating, help, good Vulcan, help, even as did there at the fight of Philigra. I shot his bolts at me with all his might, and he would not have thereby joyous vengeance. Then did my leader speak with such great force that I never heard him speak so loud. O Capaneus, and that is not extinguished, thine arrogance thou punished art the more. Not any torment, saving thine own rage, would be upon thy fiery pain complete. Then when you turned around in me with a bitter lip, saying, one of the 7 kings was he who Thebes besieged and held, and seemed to hold God in disdain, and little seems to prize him. But as I said to him, his own despites are that his breast is the faintest ornaments. Now follow me, mind thou do not place, and yet thy feet upon the burning sand, but always keep those close unto the wood. Speaking no word, we were where those gushes forth from the wood a little volt. Those redness makes my hair stand still on end, and from the bella came springs from the brooklet. The sinful woman later shared among them. So downward through the sand it went in its way. The bottom of it and both sloping banks were made of stone, and margins at the side, whence I perceived that there the passage was, and all the rest which I had shown to thee. Since we had entered in within the gate, Those thresholds upon no one is denied. Nothing has been discovered by thine eyes so notable as this present river, which all the little flames above it quenches. These words were of my leader, whence I prayed him that we would give me largest of the food, in which he had given my largest of desire. In the mid-sea there sits a waste land, and said he there afterward, whose name is Crete, under whose king in the world of the old was chaste. That is the mountain there that though once was glad, with the waters with the leaves, was called Ida. Now that the deserted as a thing worn out, Rena was chose the faith cradle, and of her own son, and concealed him better. Wherever he cried, there was clamors made. A grand old man stands in the mount erect, and who holds his shoulders turned towards Demetia, and looks at Rome as if it were his mirror. His head is fashioned to refined gold, and pure silver are the arms abreast. Then he is brass, and far down as the fork. From the point down all is chosen iron, save that the red foot is baked clay. And the more he stands, that then on the other, each part except the gold is by a fissure, asunder cleft and dripping with tears, which gathered together perforated the cavern. From the rock to rock in the fall of its valley, Akron, Styx, and Pilthon they form, and downward go along the narrow sluice, unto the point where no more descending, the Cocytus was the pool made thou shalt behold, so that here 'tis not narrated. And I to him, if so the present runnel doth take the rise as the way of our old world, why only the verge appears it to us. And he to me, thou knowest the places round, and then notwithstanding thou hast journeyed far, still it is left descending to the bottom. Thou hast not yet through all the circle turned, therefore if something new appeared to us, I should not bring amazement to thine face. And I again, Master, where shall we find it lathe in Philagathon? For when thou art silent, and thou as the other is the rain is made. In all thine questions truly thou dost please me, replied him, but the boiling of the red water might well solve one of them thou makest. Thou shalt see lathe in the outside the smoke, there where the souls repair to lay themselves, when sin repented of has been removed. Then said he, it is the time now to abandon the wood. Take heed, and thou come after me, the way the martins make that the not burning, and over them all vapors are extinguished. And that concludes Inferno by Dante Alighieri, Canto 14. If you like this content and would like to support it, please head to Patreon. That is www.patreon.com/shortstoryscene. I'd like to thank my Patreon Drac for all your help. And thank you for listening, and see you next episode. Bye!